Welcome back to Top 5 Repairs. In today's topic, I'm going to tell you guys how to fix P0068 trouble code. P008 trouble code occurs when the engine control module notices one or more of the sensors are not working properly. For example, the engine control module may notice that either the MAP sensor, the mass airflow sensor, or the TPS sensor are not working properly. When one or more of these sensors are not working properly, it is going to cause rough idle, poor gas mileage, and poor acceleration. So if you're getting P0068 trouble code, you should always check for a bad MAP sensor, a bad mass airflow sensor, or a bad TPS sensor. Before replacing any of these parts, there are a lot of factors and variables that can affect how these parts are going to operate. So I'm going to show you guys what to check. If you're getting P0068 trouble code and you're getting a mass airflow sensor code as well, this is the first part you should check. Always check the connection. Make sure the mass airflow sensor is not loose. Make sure the air box is not loose. Make sure the air box is seated properly. Make sure there are no cracks or torn on the air intake tube. Make sure the air intake tube is not loose, and make sure the clamps are tight. In addition, you also want to check the hose that's going to the air intake tube. The reason why a cracked or torn or loose air intake tube will cause a P0068 trouble code is because if there's a crack or torn, again, loose air intake tube, is going to allow unmetered air to enter inside the engine. When unmetered air enters the engine, it will throw the mass airflow sensor reading off, therefore again triggering P0068 trouble code. If you're getting P0068 trouble code and you're also getting MAP sensor code, a bad MAP sensor can definitely trigger P0068 trouble code. The purpose of the MAP sensor is to measure the pressure inside the intake manifold. And if the pressure reading is off, it is going to trigger P0068 trouble codes. And there are a lot of factors and variables that can trigger these codes. For example, if you have a bad intake manifold gasket, they can trigger P0068 code. In addition, if the vacuum lines are cracked, or the MAP sensor is loose, or the connection is bad, or the MAP sensor seal is bad, again, it can trigger that code. In addition, if the MAP sensor is mounted on the throttle body, and if the throttle body gasket is bad, again, it can trigger that P0068 trouble code. And lastly, if you're getting P0068 trouble code and you're also getting TPS sensor code, most likely you're going to have a bad TPS. However, before replacing the TPS, you want to make sure that the throttle plate is not binding. If it is binding, it can definitely affect how the TPS is going to operate. If there's a buildup of dirt, grimes, or carbon on the throttle plate, you can always use carburetor cleaner or throttle body cleaner and clean it up. And hopefully the throttle plate will open freely and the TPS can function properly. I hope you found this repair lesson informative. As always, thank you for watching and subscribe to Top 5 Auto Repairs.